Just think. It's shorter than you think. No think. Longing is the music of our sphere. The gift of life is never more or less. It starts at any time you like and ends in just a wink. Pass me the lighter, baby.
Whakalofo lahi atu, good evening, pomari e. I'm very happy to be here with you all tonight. This is the Sunday Nightcap, and I just want to say thank you for joining in, having a bit of discussion, some little bit of groundwork, some little ground rules, housekeeping. Alright, if there's an emergency, hey, you know where to get out of your own house. I hope you'll be all good. If you'd like to make a comment, please feel free to chuck this online. We're at the moment on X, YouTube, Facebook. And anything that you want to bring up, please bring it on up. And also I've got my TikTok crew here as well, so I'm doing a live here as well as a live on TikTok. It is something that's going to be becoming more and more often, more and more pronounced, especially since the election is on this year. It's a massive election. It's going to be huge. Now, I really wanted to come online to discuss what I went to. And basically, I had church today, so I was doing some of the youth work engagement there, great times. And then we had to go straight out for some lunch with the ainga, with the whānau, with the family, and then went out to a meeting over in West Auckland. That was the Trust's Stadium, and that was there to listen to Winston Peters speak and the whole team, or part of the team there. Anyway. Hundreds were turned up, quite extraordinary, really. The car park was full. I'm not sure if there's going to be photos of that, but it was a massively long area just to be able to get into the building, so it was quite extraordinary. Now, I have to say, New Zealand First have been saying a lot of the right things, and their policies that they've been putting in, or the legal movings that they've been doing, are all on board as well. And I'm thinking of things such as repealing or looking at the different laws and legislations to make sure that it's actually for all people. Alright, so whakalawhalai hatu, welcome there. Gambit, who are you talking to? Sorry, Gambit, just so you know, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to our crew on the other online. So I apologise for both. I'm going to be going back and forth. I'm going to look a little bit schizo. I'm going to go back and forth a bit. All right, all good. So it was a massive meeting. Hundreds of people were there. Took a while for us to even get in there. And I have to say, Winston Peters speaking was massive. That guy is, over 80 years old, but he's still able to command an audience and to hold humour as well as some serious topics, able to pull out numbers. It was great. It was really good. And there were a lot of people there who, some of them I think would not want to have their names out there, but there were some celebrities there. There were people who were quite strong community leaders who were there as well. In fact, and now some of us may know this name, some of us may not, but Afa Ane was there. He, of course, was an ex-national MP, Samoan, and he was very instrumental in terms of strengthening the idea of Samoan citizenship when Muldoon had taken it away. And I think that's something which is of great platform, if you will, in terms of that. Now, in it, I'm going to bring up a couple of policy announcement for the very first time that he brought up, and I think it's very important to have a look at that. Hazard Jones, we will. I'm going to bring up your comment soon because it's a fair comment. All right, so I just want to bring up this now for our TikTok family. You won't see it. All right, so I'm just going to bring this one up. Let's have a look there. This is the policies that have been shown up. All right, quite extraordinary, really. Now, the first one was the KiwiSaver generation. Now, because of our KiwiSaver crew, I'm going to say what it says. The KiwiSaver generation. New Zealand First is going to make KiwiSaver enrolment compulsory at birth. And there will be an automatic immediate Crown contribution of $1,000 for New Zealand citizens only. This is a once per lifetime investment that compounds for decades. That's important. This will be the start of the nest egg for something that we will call the KiwiSaver generation. Universal birth enrolment will ensure every New Zealand child, begins their financial life as a KiwiSaver member with a meaningful balance already growing on their behalf. This new policy will work in conjunction with our existing campaign policy of compulsory KiwiSaver enrolment for the wider workforce and increasing employee and employer contributions to 8% initially and eventually to 10%. If the direction of travel is a New Zealand where participation is the default rather than the exception, birth enrolment is the logical starting point. Establishing membership from day one, normalising savings as a lifelong habit, and ensuring no New Zealander enters adulthood without a savings foundation already in place. This policy removes the enrolment gap entirely for the next generation. Now I want to bring that back. Okay, there was a lot of words. Please note what the first two parts here are really important. New Zealand First is going to make KiwiSaver enrolment compulsory at birth. Now I want to point out, I'm married into a Singaporean family. Now I know many things about the Singaporeans who come over here and the Malaysians who come over here. And what happens is when the Singaporeans come over, what happens? Well, they come over with $1 million. They come over with $1 million, and the reason why they come over with so much money is because they are forced to engage in the same type of KiwiSaver scheme from when they first start working, from working age. And they are forced to. It's mandatory. There's no choice about it. But what it means is that by the end of their working life, or at least until a certain stage where they might leave the country or whatever it might be, they have hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million. And it's very small amounts. They're very, very small amounts. All right, they're not going to be much at all. Now, when this policy was announced, not many people took much notice about it, but I want to put out there, this is a huge policy. Can I just say, this is a huge policy. This is exciting because this is for the family. Now, I'm going to speak here very much so in terms of our Pacifica Māori communities. Now, other communities will do this better or not. Asian communities do this very well. The Palangi communities do this pretty well. But when it comes to Pacifica Māori, you know what many Pacifica Māori people in the families don't have is a proper functioning will. We don't have a proper functioning will. And what that means is that by the time that others, when some of us get hurt, you know, when our parents pass away, when I pass away and my kids are there, they're immediately going to be hit with my kids are going to have a 20k, if not more, boost in their life straight off. And that gives them a strong sense of being able to get steps up in life as they can. It's not a benefit, it's an insurance policy. In our Māori Pacific communities, most of us don't have wills. And so often when we pass away, it's the kids who even have to pay for the funeral. I thank God that my dad, he made sure that his funeral was covered before he left us. But it would have been real tough if he wasn't, you know. So things like this are bloody awesome. This policy, I wanted to jump up and leap up there, but most people just didn't quite understand it, I think. And that's okay, that's cool. But this is a policy for the family. And for the family where we as parents will not see going up. Because we, as New Zealand First, are fighting for a policy that New Zealand First candidates and MPs and the people who support them now will not see. That's really what I want to put out there. This is one of those beautiful, heart-moving and heart-breaking points where the policy would go towards our children when the children are our age, if not older. Vicious, it's not awesome if you savings get taxed. No, your savings are not getting taxed. Nothing like that whatsoever. It only gets as you when you're born, the government will put in that 1k, and then as you earn, my understanding is when you do hit that working age, then all of that little slices of it get put into it. All right. I need to probably have a look at the details of policy, but no, your savings are not part of it. I asked the policy author of that today as well. He said no. All right. James, that's good. Yes, yeah, I totally agree there, James. Elliot, are you? Jamie has asked, Elliot, you standing for NZF. Whatever the future may bring, I cannot say. I'm not at this stage, but I guess I can't say what the future may bring. I'll be honest, I'm moving in certain areas and decisions are being made, but I can't say, one way or the other, really. So at the moment, no, but whatever the future may bring, the future may bring. We'll just see. All right. So coming back to the policy here, I'm just going to make myself smaller again. Let's make myself smaller. There we go. It's an exciting one, it really is. But inside the ear, not many people did. Now, the other one that you'll see there, and I've just put this up on the screen, is buying back BNZ. All right, buying back BNZ. This one, man, this one's crazy. So New Zealand First are going to be buying back BNZ. Now, here we go. I'm going to read this again for our TikTok crew as well. We have a second campaign policy announcement today. New Zealand will be buying back the BNZ Bank. 4 Australian-owned banks control around 85% of the system. They lend our deposits back to us at margins that are materially higher than those earned by the parent groups in Australia. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars of profits a year flow out of New Zealand and across the Tasman into Australia. So let me do that one again. 4 Australian-owned banks control around 85% of the system in New Zealand. They lend our deposits back to us at margins that are materially higher than those earned by their parent groups in Australia. They make more money off us in a certain percentage per rata than the Australian. billions of dollars of profit are extricated from New Zealand and go to Australia. New Zealand First will be proposing a buyback of the Bank of New Zealand from National Australia Bank. It will be merged with Kiwibank to form the National Bank of New Zealand, NBNZ, a fully Crown-owned, commercially run, systemically significant domestic bank with the scale to genuinely compete with ANZ, ASB and Westpac. After all, when National sold BNZ to NAB in November 1992, at that time, it had 6 out of every 10 New Zealand banking customers. This is a buyback to put a New Zealand-owned competitor on the field at the scale required to change the behaviour of the foreign-owned banks. This will create real competitive pressure on the Australian-owned banks, a domestically owned strategic lender capable of supporting agriculture, infrastructure, and small to medium enterprises' growth on long horizon terms. Kiwibank, the only domesticated owned bank of any scale, currently holds just under 8% of the mortgage market. The Commerce Commission 2024 Personal Banking Market Study showed a structurally uncompetitive market in which the major banks face no sustained pressure to compete on price, no realistic threat of new entry at the scale, and no domestic ownership accountability. This is extraordinary. Kiwibank was created in 2002 precisely to provide a domestic challenger, but after 2 decades it remains a marginal player. Successive governments have starved it of the capital that it would need to be a genuine system-shaping competitor. The National Bank of New Zealand would not be a government department. It would be a fully commercial bank with a Crown shareholder, but run on new management structure, which we will outline in upcoming campaign announcements. The National Bank of New Zealand would exist to keep the major Australian banks honest and to keep New Zealand banking profits in New Zealand. The buyback of BNZ would not be funded from the operating budget. A blended funding stack would include the blending funding stack of where to get the money for it. A New Zealand sovereign banking bond issuance marketed to domestic retail and KiwiSaver investors as a direct economic sovereignty instrument. Long-dated Crown debt at current sovereign rates. BNZ currently generates more than 1.5 billion in annual cash earnings, comfortably servicing the debt and returning the surplus to the Crown. This isn't, to me, it's a no-brainer. A limited tranche of the New Zealand Future Fund and ACC investment structured as a commercial equity at arm's length and a market rate of return. Retention of Kiwibank's existing capital base. The buyback is self-financing in expectation. The fiscal impact is a one-off balance sheet expansion, not an ongoing cost. This is not nationalisation. This is taking back our country. Crown-owned. Now hear this. I had a bit of look at this, and it's all accurate. Crown-owned commercial banks operating at scale are not radical. They are normal in serious economies. Singapore, Norway, Germany, Canada, France, all have large-scale state-owned banks that have serious stakes in the market. New Zealand is the outlier, and we're going to change that. New Zealand built BNZ, Labour and National sold it, now we're going to buy it back. Every dollar of profit it makes will stay in this country, will not be extricated. This is what economic sovereignty looks like. This is what real conservatism looks like. This is what real nationalism looks like, and that's what added value looks like for the country. So you're looking at two policies. One, that every person who's born in New Zealand, a true New Zealander, a born New Zealander, immediately gets $1,000 from the government chucked into that account. And that when that young'un ends up starting work, at whatever point that is, they are straight into that KiwiSaver. They're saving. Little, just small percentage points that are unnoticeable, but again attached to their record, to their system. So that by the time that person gets to, whatever it is, 55, 60, 65, and they either need it, depending on the nuance of the detail, or once they hit that 65, boom, It's in there. It's theirs. It's a powerful policy. It's one which Singapore is very strongly in that zone as well, and I know that. And the Singaporeans love it because when you're struggling away, oh man, it sucks, but they know they've got to keep on working, keep on hustling in order to be resilient in terms of gaining more money for their family, and all the while these little pieces just being taken off, but it's not being snatched away. It's been added onto your line. It's been added onto your account, so that when you get to that age where you need to retire, it's sitting there at the most beautiful nest egg ever. And that other one, the fact that we have got billions of dollars being extracted. They've been extracted from the New Zealand economy, from our people, and been taken overseas. The buyback of BNZ, I thought, man, it's crazy. The first policy, absolutely loved it, but it wasn't so much a revolution as it was an evolution, I think. That second policy, powerful. Keep the profits in New Zealand, keep it running around, and really give the big banks that hold around 85% of the market, keep them in check, have that real competitive nature to it. So I loved it. I have to say, I loved it. Couldn't say anything about it, So it was really good. All right, so Hazard Jones Music has put this out there. Winston Peters has said, abortion, the killing of unborn New Zealanders, should be safe, legal, and rare. How should we as Christians view a man who says that murder should be safe and legal? So there's a great discussion there around abolitionism versus incrementalism, and incrementalism is a bit of a word that I've heard. As a Christian, I am absolutely pro-life, and I believe that we should not be killing babies. Right. Now, I will say that I don't know when Winston Peters has said that, so I'll have to look that one up. What I can say is that they were very strongly against the abortion and the abortion bill. That little rogue outlier that you had, I believe, was Tracy Martin, I think, and that issue got cleaned up real fast. So most of the guys are. Every single party? I think almost every single party had people who voted for the most brutal abortion bill. I think at the very least, in terms of New Zealand First, that it was only one person, and I think she was a bit of a rogue. In my opinion, she was a bit of a rogue to New Zealand First. That got, like I said, they got cleaned up. And so those guys do tend to be pro-life. That's from what I can gather. Again, it's something which I haven't been able to talk to all of them about, and, whatever it might be. I will say this. New Zealand First is the only party where I have seen them officially speak out the mention of New Zealand being a country built on Judeo-Christian principles. Now, the only ones who seem to be okay to say it. Now, that goes a big way with me as someone who is a believer of faith, who is a Christian. I think it's massive. And most of the other, all of the other parties either will refuse to say it, or they don't want any bar of that Christian history that we have. So I find that really fascinating. So thank you for that, Hazard. Always good. Let's have a look here. Jamie, buying back BNZ is ridiculous. It won't happen. Will cost upwards close to $30 billion. Why would we buy a bank when we can't even make Kiwibank competitive with competitive interest rates compared to Aussie banks? Let's not forget how woke the government have allowed Kiwibank and their CEO to become. Jamie, yep, that's fair. I will say, though, that even before Winston Peters did his speech on it, I was very keenly aware that the capital investor in terms of Kiwibank has always been really low, and lower than what they need to make themselves be quite tough and strong. What Winston Peters and the team have done is a very solid reason for why we should take that first initial hit, because I think that they're right. If you look at the evidence online, the financial evidence, it would be very much self-financing, if you will. It's a short, sharp hit with an expected self-financing operation after that, and the numbers are clean. the numbers are clean and they're robust. And by robust, I mean they can be absolutely, you can go into the numbers and have a look at them. So, Jamie, very good point. I would say, though, that we can see QBank has not been looked after as it should do. And the ideas of what Winston's put up there, Winston and the team have put up there, are solid and arguable as well. Lawrence here has said, go against the monopoly cartels. Fair enough. James Murphy, under the budget just released, the Australian Labor government is likely to introduce a death tax, a nice revenue stream for those that have passed and have super owing to them. Now, that's very interesting. The Australian Labor government are absolutely going nuts. You may know also that they've just gone in the Tickle versus, I can't remember, the Tickle Fowl or the Tickle person case. Now, Julia Gillard in 2013, I believe it was, the one who was hailed as a feminist and a wonderful supporter of women, the first Australian Prime Minister, she also removed the definition of man and woman from the Sex Discrimination Act. Fast forward, 12 years or so, and a lady put up a Giggle for Girls, I believe it was, very valid, a great little app for women only. A man then joined into the app. The girls were feeling very uncomfortable with that, fair enough. They then removed the male from it because this was an app for girls only. He has then sued his way back. He charged him under the Discrimination Act, and a court agreed with him, with the man, because a man said he was a woman, then they had to give him access to all these girls in the spaces, the app spaces. And they also made it so that the app developer was going to be charged for thousands and thousands of dollars. So she's tried to appeal that, and a few days ago we discovered that the Australian judges ended up saying, well, no, because of what the law states, they've got no real choice but to uphold the decision that they have to allow the man into the woman spaces, the woman and girl spaces on this app. And it's extraordinary. It's absolutely insane. And of course, this is a very Labour element from the Australian government. Now, the news is that the New Zealand First equivalent, One Nation, under Pauline Hanson, has become so strongly supported that she could undo the two parties there, the national equivalent, which is the Liberal, and the Labour Party equivalent here as the Labour Party in Australia. So, James, yes, while you're saying absolutely that they are bringing some crazy stuff like a death tax, the upcoming general election for Australia is going to be real fascinating. We're going to see what goes on. I've got one on here. I apologise, team. I'm missing some of the comments here on TikTok. Tamanue. Yes. So I am what you would call an Afakasi Nusela-born Pacifica. So my bloodlines contain Niue, a little bit of Tonga, and in terms of my Māori side, that would be Te Atawa Ngāti Raukawa, and the rest of it would be Pālangi. And I refer to myself as a New Zealander. Love it. Alright, Paklava Atu. Yes, Paklava Atu. Good to see you. Three Rus. I love some of the names. Hazard Jones music. It would be great if Winston Peters says every human being in New Zealand will be protected by New Zealand law because God said thou shalt not murder. Hazard, yep, absolutely agree. And who knows what might come. Who knows what might be brought up in that next segment. Like I said, Winston Peters and the New Zealand First team seem to be the most Christian-based party in Parliament by far. If someone wants to be a Christian, I would say New Zealand First so far seem to be the number one. And that's by a long shot. Not a short shot, but by a long shot. Now, could it be better? Sure, everything can be better. But so far, so good anyway, from what I think. Jolly, Ashley, thank you so much, Jolly. Yes, the Tickle versus Giggle case. The Tickle versus Giggle case. That is correct. And Shirley, I can only think of the crimes men could get away with simply get away with by simply claiming to be female. Surely that's absolutely right. And overseas, you've got some horrific cases of women prisoners being raped in their cell by sex offender males who claimed to be women. This is extraordinary. I really do. This is extraordinary. This is going on right now. This is in the US, Scotland, the first Premier of Scotland. She ended up resigning, and it was because the facts of what was going on under her reign, she was allowing men, sex predators, to go into women prisons so that he would be in the prison cell, locked in there overnight with a woman prisoner, because the guys would say that they're women. Now, yeah, sure, the women have broken the law and they should go to prison if it's so deserved. Cool, no problem. That's justice. But that is cruel, to shove them and lock them in a small cell with a sex offender male because the male says that he is a woman. That's wrong. Now, in New Zealand, from what I understand, I believe there are 2 substantiated cases of men in women prisons, but I don't know much more than that. That's all I really know, so we need to dig into that one. And surely the other ones, absolutely. We've got voyeurism now, so some toilets are now having to go, instead of the cubicles going from whatever, a foot to whatever high, now they're starting to have to be put from the floor to the top, because in those areas where males are accessing girl spaces, they found that some of the males are putting their phone underneath to be voyeurists, to be engage in perverted crimes. It's disgraceful. It's quite disgusting. And let's not even forget about the fact that you've got sports teams, that women's sports are being absolutely brutalized across the barrier. I watched a boxing match with a male who said that he was a female, absolutely smashing this girl, smashing her. It was MMA. I mean, he was smashed. I'm not even talking about Phelan Fox. Phelan Fox is an example of where a guy smashed and broke an ice hook with a girl. I'm talking about a very recent one that was just out last week of a guy who MMA'd her, and he cracked her all over the place. It was shocking. It was just shocking. I really can't believe it. Cycling, males are winning. Boxing, males are winning. Running, males are winning. Track, males are running. There was a video just came out again that at a state level in the US, a male has won all high jump, triple jump, high jump, triple jump, high jump, triple jump, long jump, and I think one other, just annihilated. And don't forget, these are males who will break records of female sports. They're going to break records of female sports. And the question is, women are never going to break the records that the men who say they're women have gotten. They're never going to break those records. So what do we do? Do we keep those records there as the records that the man broke, that no woman is going to be able to ever surpass because of the inherent nature of a man's body versus a woman's body? These are real elements that we need to look at. We need to confront these without fear of being called phobes and ists, if you will. Jason Peters, I agree about Winnie. As much as I like ACT, they have some horrible policies, like their attacks on Easter and their euthanasia policy. I get how people support the last one, but I don't fully agree with it. Yes, you're absolutely right, Jason. And I'll go a little bit further around the euthanasia elements. There's a lot of people, a lot of Kiwis would say, look, hey, I want to have decisions over my own body. I should be able to have the right to go when I want. What euthanasia does is it snatches away hope. It inherently does. And we've seen this overseas. People might not say it here, but overseas it happens. Every single place overseas where you have seen euthanasia legalized, that is assisted or suicide by doctor proxy, what you see is that euthanasia style of suicide increase and normal suicide increase. So you actually see both levels of suicide increase. This is what it goes to. And we know right now some of the ACT ones are trying to make it what is it? Minor adults, mature children and other areas. They just killed a girl because she had been raped while she was in a system, and she was deeply depressed over it. Fair enough, but instead of getting proper treatment and saying, hey, no, your life is important, we're not going to kill you, your life is important, instead of saying that, they instead allowed her to have her wish. She was feeling depressed, and at a moment she felt like killing herself, so they killed her. It's extraordinary. Euthanasia has a slippery slope. One of the greatest criticisms, or one of the most strongest opponents of euthanasia, was originally one of the guys who pushed it into law in the first ever nation to legalize euthanasia. So he was one of the main pushers. He's come out in a big way and said, "Oh man, there is a slippery slope. It's slipped, and now we are in a pro-death, pro-despair culture where it's going to be an economic decision to kill people." It's extraordinary. It really is. Socialite, I like your conversations on the platform with Leah. Thank you, Socialite. Yeah, absolutely. I love having chat with Leah. She's awesome. We have a good little kōrero, good little talanoa there. And you know what? I've never actually met her in the life. I've never met her in real world. So shucks, we'd have to do that. But she's awesome, and we're both on the same page. Again, we both, me and Leah, we whakapapa Māori, and we cannot stand that this co-governance, segregation, treating people differently according to race, and even on race, even your elite status within certain races. We both believe that if you are a good person, you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. But treat everyone equally, not on the basis of the colour of their skin, and not on the basis of who the elites of the different sections of the colour of your skin might be in. Fancy you here. Oh, fair enough. Thank you. Jason, she lost twice. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but all good in the hood. PLJ, does state-assisted suicide get counted as democide? I think that your question there is more a pointed comment, and I totally agree with you. Perhaps it should. It's interesting, but the countries that have more faith and more strength in themselves as a people tend to really oppose euthanasia. They don't want it. It seems to be that if you're a person of faith who loves their country, their nation, their family, you tend to go, no, your life is important. Whether you think so or not, your life is important. And can I just say, as a youth worker or ex-youth worker, I can absolutely tell you, your life is more important than what our temporary thoughts can sometimes be. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that most of us, if not all of us, have had thoughts, real dark, real black thoughts from time to time. But stay the course. Stay in there. All right? As stressed out as you are, as you might get. Totally. I think many of us, and many of us, both me and yourself, as you're sitting there, talking there, I think we've all been through some black days, where days suck, really suck. And you're stressing out, man. Please stay there. Right? The darkness is not forever, and you will get through it. You will get through it. Right? And I have to say, I do like what New Zealand First, this is Winston Peters was saying today, he was saying that some of the other parties, that when things get a bit bad, they immediately go to do some rash decision making. They sell state assets and all that sort of buzz. Yeah, it's true. And us as people as well, hey, when things get bad, we can make some really bad decisions. Can I just say, just stay here. Don't go. Really, don't go. I don't care what the idiotic system says about, you can kill yourself and we'll deliver it for you. Don't. Just stay here. I know it can be real hard. I get it. South of the Bow. Oh, thank you for stating it. Awesome. Hey, Manaya05, thank you so much. You guys being awesome. Hazard reads, Amen. We cannot treat people differently. You shouldn't murder anyone, including yourself, because you are made in the image of God. That's Genesis 9:6. I don't know what Genesis 9:6 is, but it sounds really good. Oh, wait, no, I think I do know that one. But Hazard reads, absolutely, totally agree with you. We shouldn't be murdering anyone, and least of all ourselves. And you know what? Just, backtracking that a little bit, we had a bit of a chat around abortion. 25, 20, 17. I'm trying to work out how old I am now. Nearly 30 years ago, I forced my girlfriend at the time to have an abortion. She was pregnant, and I did. I coerced her. I put so much pressure on her. I said some horrible things. And not every day, but most days, I think about what could that child have been now. Good life, a bad life, but that child died because of what I horrifically did, and I think about that many days. Yeah, I wish I, there's no point regretting and wishing we could go back. There's no point. But I have very few deep shames that I find that I struggle to get rid of, but that would be one of them. That would be a very big one for me anyway. All right, let's have a look there. There's also PLJ, Citizen Satisfaction Survey Marker. Fair enough. And then I'm all good, thanks, bro. Yeah, it's awesome. Love it. South of the border. So you're saying the times are dark, but stick with NZF. I was actually talking about in your times of life, and I'm speaking outside of politics. Whatever's going on, stay there. Don't go. Whatever the political situation is. Now, in terms of the political situation, so far, it seems to be that New Zealand First are saying everything the right way. And I have to say that if you look at the coalition agreement and you start doing tick boxes, they're actually meeting more than their quota. They're actually getting a lot of the stuff done that they said that they were going to get done and that they organised with. I have to say, this is a contract that works. This is a contract that is working really well. So, I mean, good on them. Sweet as. Fair to their point, Let's see here, another one from X. I've discussed euthanasia with my elderly mum, and we both agree about euthanasia. After we've seen close loved family members having to go through dementia, we think that a person should be able to decide for ourselves or for themselves the circumstances around when we want to leave this mortal coil. I don't want to linger on after I've gotten to the point when I can't recognize any of my friends' family, can't eat my food on my own, and struggle to even drink a normal cold drink. I just don't want to linger on. And I feel you. I feel you there, socialite. Absolutely fair enough. I will say that the law that came out, the euthanasia law, added on extra. So what many people had an issue with in terms of the euthanasia part, when they were sold as to why they should vote for euthanasia in the referendum, what they actually wanted was already within the law. So you already had the power to say no to certain treatments and to up certain other treatments that would end up very likely speeding your passing away. A lot of people didn't realize this until exit interviews were done. So when they made the vote, and then they had an exit interview to say, okay, great, why did you vote that way? What was missing in the law already? What they said was missing in the law was not missing in the law. It was already in the law. And the people who were propelling it, if you will, they had engaged in, I would say, disinformation. And I say disinformation because they knew damn well that some of the things that they were pushing were already in the law, but many people didn't know that. So they were purposely just pushing it in a different way. And what was the phrase? Dying with dignity. That was the big, the slogan that they used for it. But of course that means that people who weren't taking on euthanasia were not dying with dignity. And they would use certain cases to show that, well, look, this person passed away in horrific pain and things of that nature. Well, these things can be mitigated, dealt with. And so by taking on small outlier cases and boosting it up to say this is pretty much everything, they've brought in a policy that around the world has already seen the killing of children, of people who with mental illness, nothing physically wrong, with people who might have Down syndrome when they're young as, when you've got people who are over a certain age but just have had what they call a full life. So this expands more and more. MAID in Canada, as an MAID in Canada, is now responsible for so many deaths. And now we're seeing involuntary deaths, involuntary kills. So you've got people who are fighting against it and they're still being killed outside of that. Now this is cases in Canada, in France, in Netherlands, I believe. So these are ones where now they're starting to fight it. It doesn't even matter. They're just being killed off. It's extraordinary. It's quite dystopic. And it always starts with, hey, death with dignity. The slogans are careful. And the other thing is, as a taxpayer, I don't want to fund a suicide. I don't want to fund someone suiciding themselves by proxy of doctors. And remember, I believe it was every single medical facility bar one union of nurses, and they got growled for this after anyway, who said, no, please don't bring this in. We joined healthcare to engage in healthcare, not suicide, not facilitating suicide. And I think, we, as New Zealanders, I think we weren't told what we should have been told. And, what have we got there? Jason, I was a prison case manager for a long time. We often called suicide a long-term solution for a short-term problem. One of the things I would talk to people about was about when they were happy and then remind them if they'd done that once, they could recreate those same things, which is true for all of us. Jason, thank you. That's beautiful, man. Let me just read that again, just for our TikTok family out there. I was a prison case manager for a long time. We often called suicide a long-term solution for a short-term problem. One of the things I would talk to people about was about when they were happy and then remind them if they'd done that once, they could recreate those same things, which is true for all of us. Thank you, Jason. And thank you as well. Yep. So if people are being sent to prison and they deserve it, they deserve it. But they don't deserve to be squashed down and, there is such a thing as cruel and unusual punishment. And it is. You can get that. PLJ, storms always pass. Yep, fair enough. Thank you so much. Storms always pass. And I get that it can look black and dark out there. It can really be hard. Please stay there. You will get through it. Off grid te tai tokoro. Kia ora, my bro. Kia ora. Good to see you again. It's been a long time. We need to have another debate. That was great fun, by the way, last time. Just for those, I had a debate, 3-hour debate. 3-hour debate with two TikTok personalities called Snowball and Te Tai Tokoro. And it was a great discussion. We had a good talk about the facts, the evidence, and what's going on, all that sort of buzz. Plat stacks, are you a history teacher perchance? First off, love that word perchance. What a beautiful word. Love it, great word. No, not a history teacher. I actually did the first year of education, trying to get a bachelor education. I failed miserably. I got A-, A's, and A+, for all of my essays, but I kept failing my lesson plans. I just couldn't get the lesson plans. And it's ironic, if any of you know what I do now, you'd find it really ironic. But I could not get the lesson plans, eh? Oh well, what it is, always good in the hood. Team, we're coming near to the end, but you've got some great comments and stuff out there like it. Here, and hey, this is we started with politics, but we've gone into a real beautiful discussion around some of this stuff, and confronting all of this. Socialite on X, with euthanasia, currently it is limited to a person having the mental capacity to decide that at the time. Currently, it doesn't allow a person to have, in effect, a living will to enable us to choose a future circumstance where in that future circumstance we would not be able to communicate our will, but would want to end things. Perhaps what we think would be like a DNR, do not resuscitate, but applying to advanced dementia circumstances. Well said, Socialite. Man, you wrote that very carefully too, I see. You're right when you say currently, because even now the politicians are trying to get to liberalise it, to expand out what that means to for the kill. And that's exactly what they do overseas. Is exactly what they're going to do here as well. Your point there about the DNR, do not resuscitate. Mum had that when she ended up leaving us. She was 59. She didn't quite make 60, but she had a DNR on her, and I remember even there, as she was leaving us, I had a struggle there at that moment, but yeah, but I get it. I get it. Oh, sorry, I think I've missed some comments down here, but hey, thank you so much for you guys popping in as well. I'll read probably this last comment. Hazard reads, this is from YouTube, whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed, for in the image of God he made man. Oh, Genesis 9:6. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't mind these. Hazard reads, I'm not sure if this is you or if you know, but I had, at the last March for Life in Auckland, I had a long discussion with an abolitionist. Abolitionists are people who believe that we should immediately ban abortion fully, outright, in one clean hit. As a pro-life person, I believe in basically pulling, same goal, but we believe in pulling, like the slavery. When they abolished slavery, it had to be done in increments, trying to pull out of slavery. Same thing for pro-lifers. Pro-lifers believe in getting rid of abortion, but by incremental movements forward towards it. And I would be one of them, I suppose. But look, that is 1 hour. We've had some great chats, team. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for being here and having a bit of a discussion. I went to the New Zealand First meeting and it was great, to the point where I think I'm on board. Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board. I think I can call myself a full-on supporter for New Zealand First now. I think that I've got no reasons to. I've got none. I've got no reasons to say no to. There's no more. I heard it. I talked to some of the people there. I had a discussion about the policies to the author of those policies as well. I guess so. Socialite, didn't know you did a live chat on X. Found out from Simon TV. Oh, Simon TV, good fella, great fella. Yeah, so I don't. You know what? I'm gonna say I am now a full supporter of New Zealand First. And yes, I that very early comment on about standing. Who knows what might happen? It maybe I will. I think this nation needs to have good fighters in it. I don't. If I do decide to stand, then it will be to fight for the nation. If so done, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless New Zealand. Ka kite.